Hello, friends. My name is AJ Sims, and I'm also the host of the Kingdom Built podcast. Welcome to today's episode. We're going to be touching on gut health. I love to touch on how we can integrate and utilize diversity of food in proper gut health and functionality. I'm going to specifically be touching today on fermentable fibers, how they produce SCFAs, which you're going to hear me cite a lot. It stands for short chain fatty acids. What the importance of that is, and how the low FODMAP diet isn't always where we should go for long periods of time to fix any sort of dysbiosis and leaky gut. While it has its place, it's not always the answer and can lead to a lot of issues on building up the microbial diversity that you need of good gut bacteria, which can lead into improving insulin sensitivity, as well as improving overall lipids, increasing that HDL, lowering your LDL, and making sure that we have proper lipid profiles into heart health and cognitive benefits alike, because we know that the gut is the second brain and there is a gut-brain axis. They're connected, they're correlated. So today, we're going to touch on all those things. By the end of the episode, I'm going to give you guys some practical things to integrate into your daily nutrition so that you can make sure that your digestion is up to par, because we want the inside to look just as good as the outside. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so like I said, we're going to be diving into how we can increase fermentable fibers in our diet, essentially having diversity on our plate. Because I know most of you guys are eating chicken and rice, egg whites and oatmeal, cream of rice, whey protein isolate, and some beef, probably with a very few vegetables, and maybe you take a greens powder, and you think that's enough, and you don't understand why so many people are suffering in the bodybuilding realm from SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, dysbiosis alike, H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori, Candida overgrowth, and all things alike, which of course we know leaky gut, the integrity of the stomach lining, leaking out lipopolysaccharides, which is allowing bad invaders to get into the bloodstream, which will increase systemic inflammation and oxidative stress alike, which is going to lead into neurological issues, downregulation of insulin sensitivity, while increasing LDL and decreasing HDL, skewing your lipids all over. And of course, we know there's a correlation to it all. So how do we fix this? How do we create diversity on our plate for overall nutrition? Okay, so we're going to increase fermentable fibers. Fermentable fibers can be found in things like chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and certain cruciferous vegetables. Now, obviously, by increasing fermentable fibers, what's happening is we're increasing something called SCFAs, short-chain fatty acids, also known as butyrate, which can come in the form of sodium butyrate. It can come in the form of acetate butyrate and propionate butyrate. Now, this short-chain fatty acid is a key pivotal role player in preserving the integrity of the gut lining. It's also going to help reduce overall inflammation and reduce gut permeability all alike. So we've talked about leaky gut, dysbiosis, gut permeability, which contributes to leaky gut and allowing LPS, lipopolysaccharides. So if you guys have ever gotten a stool analysis or a GI map with zonulin in it, the majority of people that have been bodybuilding or eating copious amounts of food and also utilizing performance enhancers, or just training really, really hard with high cortisol levels, dysregulation of that HPA, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which again, all cascades into proper gut health. When gut health is dysregulated, so goes everything else, because death starts in the colon. So important that we're increasing those fermentable fibers. Now, like I said, I like to add in things like hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, and certain vegetables. Now, you won't see that with most people's nutrition in this industry, because most people will shy away and only utilize things like greens powder. People will take your apple cider vinegar and they'll take it with lemon, and there is benefits in that. Obviously, D-limonene being one of the best liver detoxifications. It can also help with Helicobacter pylori and overgrowth. Apple cider vinegar containing acetic acid too as well is promoting with tons of things in increasing stomach acidity down to improving insulin sensitivity, and all alike for digestibility of foods. However, when you are not increasing the microbiota diversity, so you have a diverse diet, your body will only regulate to those certain foods. And when you eat outside of that, you're of course going to have some sort of gastric distress because there's not enough good gut bacteria to understand, or short chain fatty acids to be able to promote the integrity of the gut lining, the digestibility of those fermentable fibers, and really have enough pre and probiotics in there, the good guys, the good stuff, to be able to digest it properly. So there's a complete impact on dysbiosis and leaky gut. Now, when we are getting rid of those foods and we're just sticking to our high protein rich, high carbohydrate, low in fiber diets, and even low fat, we will see a downregulation of bifidobacteria and lactobacillus, specifically needed to be able to outweigh those bad invaders, to be able to reduce all causation of dysbiosis and leaky gut. So very important, again, that you're getting these leafy green plant-based fermentable fibers into your diet to increase the short chain fatty acids in the body, the SCFAs, the butyrates. So a lot of you guys have heard of the low FODMAP diet. And the low FODMAP diet is a typical go-to for most gastroenterologists or people that are trying to hack into improving digestion alike. Now, if they're suffering from any type of dysbiosis, candida, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or anything in between, they typically will refrain to the low FODMAP diet. Now, it's been shown in gastroenterology to improve these symptoms for a very short period of time. But for long periods of time, you are going to start having those micronutrient deficiencies and the diversity of your microbiome as a whole, because you're missing those important things that the low FODMAP diet will exclude. So if you need to utilize a low FODMAP diet for a short period of time, and I have used it myself and with clients alike, but I always will introduce and integrate back in fermentable foods, fermentable fibers to increase the butyrate in the body. So guys, you have to have diversity on your plate. Your sauerkrauts, your kimchis, your kombucha, your raw kefir, like I said, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds. We need an increase in these short chain fatty acids that will come in the form of fermentable fibers, prebiotics, probiotics, all these things alike will increase the availability of having good digestion and have diversity in the microbiome. So, low FODMAP diet, while it has its place, long-term, definitely not the long-term solution. Find your long-term solution by slowly integrating in these said foods. You can do it by starting off with one thing a day. Start off with one thing a day and understand that in the beginning, your microbiome has to build back up all of these things to be able to digest it properly. So, if you go out and, for example, you're on the carnivore diet and you're shying away completely from fibers as a whole, well, your microbiome is resetting itself to not be able to digest it properly. So you're going to, of course, get gas and bloating immediately because you have not been taking in these fermentable fibers. Therefore, your microbiome cannot handle the digestion and utilization of these nutrients. It doesn't have the butyrate buildup, and therefore, you essentially will be very uncomfortable. And of course, you're going to say, well, of course it was that food, and I just can't eat it. I can't tolerate it. It must be a food intolerance. And I can tell you that that is definitely not the case. So make sure that you understand diversity in your diet is another key pivotal role in what we're talking about today. All right, guys, so we're going to get into your micronutrients. We've talked about this before. We've talked about selenium, zinc, iodine, copper, all these micronutrients that are very, very important, and they're vital. Now, you need to understand that without sufficient fermentable fibers in your diet, you will not have enough magnesium in your body to be able to even create the availability of vitamin D3 and K2, for example. Vitamin D3 and K2 will remain inactive, specifically vitamin D3, without proper amounts of magnesium. Now, of course, our foods here in America, due to the depletion of the soils, do not provide a ton of magnesium. Therefore, magnesium supplementation, I will tell you, will need to come into play. Now, what magnesium you're taking, we've touched on threonate, we've touched on glycinate. Your mileage may vary depending on dosage and if it causes gastric distress. I stick with 3 and 8 because it crosses the blood-brain barrier the easiest. I want the cognitive boost. I want the relaxation. And I'll also pair it with a little bit of glycinate too before bed. But I digress. You still need magnesium-rich foods in your diet each and every day. And we know that fermentable fibers and increase in short-chain fatty acids alike will help increase your nutrient intake of dietary magnesium, allowing your D3 to actually be active and bioavailable. So I've had people, and I've reviewed their blood work, where they're on 10,000 IUs of a high-quality vitamin D3 K2 supplement, and their vitamin D3 levels are very low. Well, that wouldn't make a lot of sense, even especially if it's been a long-term usage. Well, come to find out that they're depleted in magnesium. So that depletion in just magnesium is not allowing that vitamin D3 to even become active. So having a magnesium-rich diet and having diversity of your nutrition is a key pivotal role, guys. Do not skip out on those fibers. All right, next on the list is going to be short-chain fatty acids and overall lipid metabolism. Now, it's amazing how short-chain fatty acids derived by fermentable fibers will actually improve lipid metabolism. So how does it do this? Well, butyrate will specifically stimulate oxidation of fatty acids into the liver, lowering blood triglyceride levels and improving cholesterol profiles, reducing your LDL and increasing your HDL, which I said at the top. So the benefits specifically important for bodybuilders alike who may have skewed lipid profiles, which most of you do, will really benefit in increasing fermentable fibers, increasing your short-chain fatty acids, butyrate specifically, to be able to stimulate this oxidation of fatty acids in the liver specifically. We want to improve your lipid profile because we want a cascading effect of improving insulin sensitivity. Butyrate has been shown specifically to increase glucose uptake into the muscle, which is enhancing the signaling of insulin. So we're improving insulin sensitivity as a whole by increasing those butyrates through short-chain fatty acids coming from fermentable fibers. So diversity, guys, diversity. You can't just look at your GDAs, your glucose disposal agents, or trying to take exogenous insulin and thinking that that's the answer when diversity of your nutrition is just chicken, rice, whey protein shakes, cream of rice, and some greens powder with a probiotic that you bought from Vitamin Shop. It's vital that you understand that we must think outside of this conundrum, this box that we've put ourselves into nutritionally as a bodybuilder. And I've been there. Listen, guys, I was there once where it was so dumbed down and simplistic that I missed out on having this diverse microbiome to be able to control all these levels. And again, it cascaded into all these issues, right? My lipids were skewed, my insulin sensitivity was down, so I became more insulin resistant. I mean, all these acclimating effects, which triggered a 2012 diagnosis of irritable bowel disease, essentially. So I had to go on the hunt and figure out how could I fix this, not only through natural Ayurvedic herbs and supplementation to be able to heal the stomach lining and kill the bad invaders and disrupt biofilms, which is another great thing, by the way, caveat, that butyrate will do is actually disrupt biofilms. Biofilms, essentially the wall that covers and protects the bad invaders to keep them in. So they have supplements out there that are biofilm disruptors, and they will destroy those biofilms, and you'll have a die-off period. But why even get to that point when we can have diversity in our nutrition, get these fermentable fibers in, build up the butyrate within the body through the short-chain fatty acids, and actually feed our gut what it needs to function on the cellular level to improve insulin sensitivity, to improve lipid profile, to enhance cognitive abilities, to enhance better sleep at night, to reduce systemic inflammation, to reduce oxidative stress. Guys, listen, we can't just think in the realm of just your rice, your chicken, your beef, your eggs, your egg whites, your whey protein isolate, your casein, so on and so forth, and leave these fibers that are so vital out. So very, very important. I always encourage guys to shoot around 35 to 40 grams of fiber coming mainly from these fermentable fibers. So it's an awesome way to really aim for a specific goal. And again, your mileage may vary depending on where your gut health is at overall. Listen, guys, I read GI maps and stool analysis from Viome and Genova Diagnostics pretty much all day, where I see these issues commonplace for clients that are just starting out with me because they came from such a simplistic, non-diverse nutritional outline, and they've missed the whole point of everything. So if we want to perform optimally, if we want to feel our best, remember, it starts from the inside out. It's not the outside and then it goes into the inside. No. You can only look so good externally for so long when your internal is basically not firing. We want a full churn on all cylinders. So we need this gut to be diverse. We need this gut to have everything that it needs, from good gut bacteria to proper pre and probiotics to butyrates from the fermentable fibers. We need to be able to attack the bad invaders by having enough stomach acidity, which we touched on my last podcast on hypochlorhydria and low stomach acid causing acid reflux and GERD, not closing that lower esophageal sphincter. So all these issues will, again, cascade into micronutrient deficiencies, skewed lipids, insulin resistance, and joints, ligaments, tendons, all these things. You have joint pain, and we go straight to, things like BPC or growth hormone, which are great tools in and of itself to help lower inflammation, sure, but why not start with a diverse nutrition on your plate each and every day throughout the day? Why not start with medicine coming from our food? The food is our medicine. It's really important that you understand where your food's coming from and finding single ingredient foods being of the most benefit. Listen, guys, I'm not going to say that I don't integrate certain processed foods on certain levels into some diets. I do, but for the most part, today, and this is a differentiation from years ago, the cereals I'll use on my programs are things from like Arrowhead. It's a company that makes maple buckwheat cereal that has about 5 or 6 ingredients. These are single key ingredients. Or fruit juiced cornflakes coming from organic corn, non-GMO, verified. It's really important that you understand where your food's coming from, that most genetically modified, sprayed with pesticides and Monsanto's spraying all of our food is causing dysregulation in the gut. So if we're having all these dysregulations and bad invaders coming in, causing oxidative stress, causing a systemic inflammation, causing a response from these highly processed foods, and then you're also not feeding your good gut bacteria, you're not also getting diversity in your microbiome. Guys, it's a recipe for disaster. And eventually you're going to come to a halt where you're either getting your gallbladder removed, you're having some sort of PPI prescribed for you long term, which of course we know is, again, just exacerbating the issue, lowering stomach acidity even further, and also causing micronutrient deficiencies as a whole, your B12, your magnesium, just to name a few. And all these issues of your hairs falling out, and your nails being brittle, and your joints aching, and then brain fog, mental acuity just going down the drain. So guys, a diverse nutritional program is key. That's why on all my programs that I do online coaching worldwide, by the way, email is going to be down in my bio, cheap plug. I am integrating fermentable fibers, pre and probiotics. I'm integrating things to increase butyrate. I also supplement with sodium butyrate specifically. I am having my clients supplement with that. We're taking in things like bone broth. We're having food be our medicine each and every day, because bodybuilding in of itself can be stressful. Training hard, of course, creating oxidative stress if you're on any type of performance enhancers. I mean, for the most part, the world just in of itself is very stressful. It's constantly go, go, go. You're constantly in fight or flight and more of a sympathetic, and you're increasing your inflammation systemically just from that. So pair that with hard training, which I love. Pair that with stints of doing caloric deficits, which I love. You're going to increase the overall oxidative stress on your body, which is just going to systemically go into all these issues, cascading effects, guys. We want to keep you healthy. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm passionate about. I've been through it. I had the irritable bowel disease. I still have it. It is an autoimmune disease. Guess what? I have been able to put it in remission without pharmacology, because I've learned that diversity in my nutritional day-to-day life is key. It's pivotal to build up my stomach acidity, to increase fermentable fibers, to be able to increase butyrate through the short-chain fatty acids, and all things alike. And if you guys want to go touch more on gut health, you can go to my prior episodes, and I touch more on how to heal the gut from other things, other types of tools and supplementation, and integrating things like chewing your food 20 to 30 times to be able to stimulate the saliva and also stimulate digestive enzymes specifically, so you actually digest your food. Gentlemen, and anyone listening alike, this is important. Change your mindset of your whole diet, your nutrition. Add these key pivotal players in your gut health routine, in your overall health routine, because at the end of the day, if we don't have our health, we have nothing. You can look great, and then next year it all goes to waste, because once that gut goes, once you have pushed the limit too much and you're dealing with these irritable bowel diseases, IBS, all these inflammatory gut issues because you didn't want to have a diverse nutritional program, believe me when I tell you, nothing tastes better than feeling amazing. So make sure that you're checking off all those boxes each and every day. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, please hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification for the next time I put out another video. That's a full churn on diversity of your gut. Let's build that gut up and keep you guys churning, guys. I'm AJ Sims. Until the next video, God bless.